Ready? Hi, I'm Claire with A&A Sewing. This is my helper.
Hi, I'm Fletcher.
How old are you, Fletcher?
5.
Fletcher is going to help me today to make the small kid size for 3 to 6 year olds and the COVID prevention mask. So if you guys are watching, let me find my thing. You should have already downloaded this. Is a face mask pattern from craftpassion.com. It's a free download. I'm going to link it with this video just so you can see it. It's a great pattern. Just like on the adult sizes, I've traced this size onto pattern ease. You can use freezer paper, wax paper, whatever you have, just to make it easy if you're doing a quantity. You want to add 1/4 inch all the way around, just like on the other masks. For the lining piece, we've cut it to be exactly the size of our template. For the other pieces, we're going to do the same as with the main size masks. We're going to, I interfaced it with SF101. We're going to extend the mask 1 inch past on the ear side, on the straight side. So same, everything like that is the same. The reason I interface this is because Fletcher has requested that we make a mask that has teeth on it. So we're going to be appliquing these teeth using heat and bond. We'll applique these down and then we'll make a cool venom mask. So, are you excited?
Yeah.
Alright, first step, we're going to actually, I used heat and bond on the back of the teeth. We're just going to peel the backing off and fuse them into position onto the mask. So, let's get started. It's okay. So, here we are. We have the mask. We've used our heat and bond to fuse the teeth in place. And now we're going to applique them on. We have our teeth appliqued, everything's outlined on our outer piece. Now we're going to assemble the mask just like we did with the adult mask. So if you haven't done that yet, that's okay. I'm going to go through all the instructions with you again. So I'm going to put them right sides together. On the outer piece, I changed to my straight stitch plate, regular straight stitch. The reason I like the straight stitch plate is because anytime you're sewing with this little pointy piece, sometimes it wants to fall inside the machine. It's really frustrating, especially if you're trying to get stuff done, like with these masks. Everybody's in a rush to get them donated. We don't want you to have to fight with your machine for that. So regular straight stitch, I switched over to all black thread. So we're ready to sew. 1/4 inch from the edge, and I'll show you what that looks like.
I was just about to get the wire.
You don't need to get the wire. There. The other thing is we're going to have to back stitch whenever we start and stop these stitches because we want these masks to be washable. Alright.
As you watch Claire sew.
Okay, lining, same exact thing. There's right sides together already. 1/4 inch on that curved side.
I just want to make this like a movie, Mom.
It is like a movie, but everything you say, they can't turn on the camera.
I just want it to be like a little video that your sewing mates can see.
Tell them. Hey, sewing mates. Now that we've got that line stitched, it's a little bit easier to see with this contrast. We want to snip the curve, meaning that we're going to take our scissors and just snip toward the seam allowance without going through. This is going to allow that curve to be a little more natural looking once you open it up. I'm going to do the same for the outer piece. You like this part? Alright, now we're going to top stitch. For top stitching, we want a stitch length of about 3. And we're not going to go to the iron for this. We're going to press that seam by hand over to a direction and stitch it from the top. So it's going to go under machine like this. I'm going to show you that.
Watch Claire.
Stop, Fletcher. Stop it. You're going to kick out. You want to kick off the show?
No, that's my last one.
Okay. Alrighty, so now let's get to our top stitching. Back stitch also. Just manually we're pressing that seam to the one side. I've chosen the right side, so I'm going to stick with that for both mask pieces because later we want them to nest together, and I'll show you what that means. If I'm pressing the seam kind of with my thumb to the right side, we want to do that for both parts. This is going to be a crazy looking mask.
Can I please do it? Please.
Want to try it on, Venom? Venom, crazy snaggletooth. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing with the lining. Just going to open it up. Manually press the seam to the right side because that's what I did on the outside. And then whenever I put them facing each other, to stitch them together, it's going to nest it together really nicely.
Just kind of a little funny.
You making funny faces. Tell me who is Venom.
He's a person who attacks Spider-Man.
He's a person who attacks Spider-Man. Is he a really bad guy?
He's made out of venom.
Like mean, evil Venom?
Yes.
Why do you want your mask to look like Venom?
Just the mouth.
Just a crazy mouth?
If you make a suit, then it's gonna be venom mouth. Full rest Spider-Man.
I guess it could get to the point where you'll have to wear full suits. We'll see. Okay, let's test out this piece.
Yeah.
If your kids are helping you, this mask might be a silence mask. Listen to it. It sounds so good. Okay. We're ready to assemble our mask now. So we have the outside, inside. We're going to put them right sides together. And what we want is that those seams nest together. If you're a sewing guru, this is a familiar term to you.
Sewing guru.
It's hard to see with the black. I'm going to see if I can change my... But you see where those two seams exactly line up, and the bulk is facing one way on one piece, one way on the other piece. Makes it really easy. We're going to stitch this together at 1/4 inch as well. Those curves should line up pretty well. The bottom should line up pretty well. If you want to use pins, please do.
Mommy,
we'll stitch this together at 1/4 inch.
Mommy, will I please? I'm super excited.
You want to kind of go around the curve. Careful going across that thickness in the middle. Kind of just move your fabric so that those edges line up. A lot of people are like, what if it shifts? It's like you're driving, dude. You drive it, you make it line up where you want it to line up.
You took off your clips?
You take off your clips. Alright, let's try it on this one. Pretty darn good, but it's inside out. So, we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to clip that edge just a few times on each side of the nose piece.
Spikes. So you
kind of looks like spikes.
I'm just kidding, it's very spikes.
Fletcher, do you have anything to say to the other kids whose moms might be making masks for them? Tell them.
If I have something?
Yeah. What are some other good design ideas? This could be a dinosaur mask with big dinosaur teeth. Maybe if you did with like green.
Hulk
big
teeth?
Dinosaur teeth. Hulk teeth would be big squares. That would be cute.
No, Hulk teeth are like...
This is my Hulk. Show me Hulk teeth into the camera. Show you how to complete this mask with binding ties. I had a couple requests for that, and I think it's a great idea. If you have ribbon, same kind of thing. Like you can just pass a ribbon and do the little edge like we've done before. For the method that involves binding, I'm going to actually close off these ends. We made some bias tape using our little Clover bias tape maker. I use size 18. It makes a strip that looks like this. I ironed it in half again, and I just tucked the tip in. It's hard to see this color on here, but I made a bias strip 25 inches long. I'm thinking that's going to be enough for one side. Then we'll go back and do another one for the other side. The method for this is that we want to encase this edge. I'm thinking it's going to work a little bit better if I level off the edge. So I'm just cutting along where my lining ends. The joys of experimental video, everybody. Okay, cut this one level with that lining. Alright, now we're going to find the center of the binding strip itself. Just going to fold it in half and get it kind of close. I haven't stitched this together, mind you. This is still kind of like has an open mouth side. And I'm going to put the edge of my mask inside the binding. To attach this, I like using a walking foot. Fletcher would like to remind us that this is his mask, not my mask.
But she's making it so it is.
Okay, so I'm going to encase the edge of the mask like this. I like my clips. I kind of keep it. You want it to be full. Stick the edge of the mask all the way up inside of that. A little bit easier to see from this side. So we're going to pinch the mask into that. You can continue to use the Wonder Clips to clip the rest of this, and all we're going to do is stitch this together. The way this is going to work is that when the person wearing it has it on, these two pieces will be able to tie in two different ties around the head. So we'll demo that, but let me go ahead and get this stitched on.
It goes...
Just kind of stitching along that edge. Making sure the mask is going to kind of want to fall a little bit. But
hello to you. Say hello to you.
You don't want to go too close to the edge that you think you're going to miss the back side. You can come right here if you want. But I'm But you want to make sure that you're catching both. So I just kind of, for this part where it's out here, like the strap itself, it's easy to see. When we get the mask under there, and I kind of have to feel it, but it's just such a small distance that I think we'll be able to judge it pretty well.
So small.
Okay, so I'm going to take my clip off.
Cookies.
And just kind of hold. Now I'm going to reinforce this a little bit because this is going to get a lot of stress. So we're just going to reinforce that top and bottom corner a little bit.
Venom, please don't get worried.
Don't worry, Venom.
I am Venom. But that's it.
Okay, and then we'll continue off this edge of the mask to complete the rest of the tie.
Is it really a mouth? It's just a mask mouth.
There's so many possibilities for these masks.
It can either be...
It's like a fashion statement.
It's either a mouth or...
It's like it's fashionable to be well, you know.
But mine is almost going to be like a full mouth. But it's really a mask.
That's right.
You forgot to make the bottom teeth. Venom has bottom teeth.
No, but I didn't think you have enough room on your little face. Your face is very small.
But my chin has teeth on it. If my Venom mask is upside down, it almost looks like...
Let's see what it looks like.
You're going to tie it around me this time?
Look straight ahead. So this strap would tie up here. This strap would tie down here. So I'm thinking 25 inches is a healthy length for the kids' mask. I would say experiment for the other sizes, but let me attach the other one and we can see what it looks like. All right, Fletch, turn around. Let's model this puppy. Very good. So our mask is finished now. The bias tape is stitched down on each side. It's not bias cut, which is a kind of a relief. It makes it a little easier. You can just cut it the length or width of the fabric. I used two 25-inch length pieces. My bias tape maker was size 18. My strip that I cut was 1.5 inches or 1 3/8 inches wide. This is a great option for if you're out of elastic, have nothing else to fasten these things with. It's a quick way to do it. It doesn't involve like feeding anything into a hole, so it's kind of nice. But happy sewing, happy quarantine. Say happy quarantine.
Happy quarantine.